from scratch. So I wonder if that will change as the night progresses.
Yeah, I wonder if Josh is talking to him already. But
Can hear a few giggles out there in the arena straight away.
He was unlucky not to cannon a ball as with the cue ball as it's come back across the table there. But it's a nice open split. I think if they're going to be going yellows here, they just need to leave an angle at the bottom end of the table to be able to split out the red that's just above the yellow to the left.
Yeah, it's a pretty clear and obvious problem for Batman and Leary here.
See, just looking if he's got the angle now to top down, or just leave the angle after this shot.
It's one of those sort of testers. Opening frame of the night, not just the opening frame of the match. Opening frame of the night, and it is a tricky one. Get it though, and it sets your night up beautifully.
Yeah, the choice he's got, he can either go around the back off 2 rails, or just make sure he goes into the red rather than the yellow on the shot.
Didn't quite get it.
No, but he may have second prize where he can play the one into the right centre. Natural angle comes back through the gap and cannons the yellow and the red. He's got to stay still on the shot.
That'll do. That could not have come out much better, I don't think. Well, I say that, maybe just a fraction of a roll further than they'd have wanted, but if they're on the one to the bottom left, they're actually fine.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if they are.
Yeah, I think if he can take the one bottom left, it's perfect to probably get out here. Maybe use the red to hold.
Yeah, had to turn it a fraction, so it's just a bit more of an angle from yellow to 8 ball, but there is room, there is a line.
Yeah, so we see the red at the top end of the table. That's going to be the guide for Dylan. So he's just going to use a natural angle off the side rail and probably bump into that red to hold for the black. Was able to manipulate it through the gap, which is good.
Yeah, pretty lovely opening visit this from Eddie and Dylan, particularly as it wasn't a kind layout and it didn't exactly go ideal straight away. They almost made themselves 2 problems to solve, but they did both. And in goes the 8 ball from the Batman. 1-0 lead for Dylan and Eddie.
Yeah, that's a nice frame to settle both players into the night. And you can tell, if you go back to years ago when these first played on the Ultimate Pool TV table, they look so much more settled. You see the players, when they first come on, how nervous and edgy some of them looked. These two just look like they're playing in their own back garden, essentially, in their own pool room.
Yeah, and I think that's, certainly for Eddie, that's something that's maybe come a little bit more recently than for Dylan. But definitely for Eddie, the run he's had so far has been excellent.
And we're on to the singles frames now, so it's Scotch doubles opening frame, 2 singles, Scotch doubles followed by 2 singles. And it's a great break for Eddie first off here, so he'll be looking at yellows. He's got a tricky opening pot, so he may have to just clip the yellow into the right centre and come off the top rail and back out. He could go reds if he can land in the gap between the yellow and the 8 ball later on in the finish. He's going to take the 3 on the left-hand side here, and then use the 1 on the right centre to just track down the table. He plays the game so steady and takes his time all the way through his finishes. Just there's no rushing from Eddie. He's looking at tracking down now while he's got the angle. Needs to get in the gap.
Oh, I tell you what, I think it's perfect here.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big gap to find at all.
And he's just screw into the yellow here. There you go.
Yeah, he's sort of the definition, really, of that old phrase, steady Eddie, isn't he? But
yeah,
he really is just so solid. And he has had to adapt his game a little bit because he was a slightly steadier Eddie previously, but he has had to speed up a fraction. But he's, in the years that he's played with 𝗏𝗏𝗃, he's really improved that element of his game as Eddie Barker.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's the consistency element. He's found a level of consistency that suits his game, and whether we're playing in an arena, in the local pool hall, it doesn't matter. He's the same Eddie that plays all the time, and he just goes round the table, does his own business, and as we're seeing here, he's going to get the finish.
Yeah, he's picked these apart beautifully. Really nice finish this from Eddie Barker. Whenever you can have a pattern where your last 3 shots are just 3 simple straight stuns, it's been a pretty good one. And yeah, Steve Juhasz puts his cue away. He knows Eddie Barker's not letting him back in here. This has been a super start from Batman and Lethal Leary, who have not given the 2 Juhaszes a look in whatsoever. But right now, here's a key moment, as it will be the 3rd frame. And it's interesting, I think, yes, it is Josh to play next, which is a key moment, because now the next 3 frames should all feature Josh Juhasz, although it's Steve who stood up, which...
Yeah, it's Steve. Oh, no.
Yeah, I think there's a... Referee 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗲𝗃𝗍 keeping them right. That was Steve's game, the last one.
Steve
Josh
just
to
wants
play.
his table time, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But this is an important distinction, because Josh now will play a part in all of the next 3 frames, which 2-0 down, you want the pro in the partnership to do what he does best. And if he's going to break like that tonight, he should be in pretty good shape. Josh will play this singles frame. He'll be a part of the next Scotch frame and the singles frame after that as well.
Yeah, he's hit that break brilliantly. He deserves an easier layout, to be honest, the way he's hit that and the amount of balls he's taken off the table. But he needs to go yellows here and just pick out a nice route.
Yeah, ordinarily when you pot 3 of the same ball, you're almost certainly going for the other one because of all the options that you have. But actually, he was 1 red being in the open away from absolutely taking reds there all day.
Yeah, but even though some of the yellows look like they're tied up, they do sort of connect where he doesn't really have to play a cannon, so he can just run this through slightly and then take the yellow into the bottom left after the shot. Just travelled a little bit too far, so you may have to maybe hear a little sigh.
I wonder there if it... Yeah, he wanted to be on the yellow below the red. Just slightly left of centre in the table.
You may still have an angle to take the one to the bottom right, and then softly cannon into the red and yellow. As long as he can see the potting angle, he should be okay.
Oh, he didn't have it, so snooker it is, and it's a very good one.
It is a good shot. And it's a clever shot because he's put the pressure already on Dylan, because even if he hits the red, percentages are that Josh comes to the table and has a gettable finish. So
And do you think that's the sort of shot where maybe when Josh first came on the Ultimate Pool Pro Series, he might have been tempted to have taken on the finish and felt that swagger and confidence that he can get them from anywhere, and also feel like he needs to? Whereas we see, I think, the more experienced players are, the more likely they are to play a shot like that.
Yeah, they probably just realise, like, you don't always have to push the boat out too much. And he's probably also thinking at the stage in this match, being 2-0 down, it's too risky to go. But now he's got a great opportunity. He's got that angle that we talked about earlier, where he can play a soft cannon into the red.
Yeah, it was the only downside to playing the snooker, even as delicately as he played it, in that he did tie the yellow up a little bit, but dealt with straight away, and now he's, well, 5 clean pots away from being 2-1. We're over the halfway point in the match.
So I think I'd have been taking left centre here.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of a brave plan, but it is a very makeable shot. It's played well.
He's played it very well, to be honest, but he's just got to work out how he's going to connect these up. And the awkward one to get on is the one to the middle of the 3 yellows. He's perfect.
He's played a lovely shot there, lovely line. Good stuff could happen on that line. And this is the shot that he wanted to play right at the start of the visit, and he's finally landed there.
Yeah, it looks like he's got the pace of the table very well, the way he's played that. Nice draw back here.
Yeah, lovely clean pot. Excellent visit to the table from Josh Juhasz. Excellent frame of pool, actually, from the Jackal. Because, as I say, maybe once upon a time he's going all out there despite playing a slightly loose shot, but sometimes the best tactic for winning a frame is not necessarily in one visit and after a slightly loose positional shot. And we're talking fractions. He recovered the situation really well.
Yeah, and I think that was a perfect frame on for any newcomers watching can learn from that, as the shot that won Josh the frame essentially it was the snooker that he played when he ran out of position. He's kept his pairing in this match at 2-1, 7 minutes left.
So Dylan Leary on the cut break, which is a great weapon for him. We mentioned Josh would be a part of all 3 of the frames 3, 4 and 5, but of course not if 𝗡𝗏𝗃𝗵 make their way through this frame without letting them to the table, as they've done twice already today.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be ruling out a third here. They'll be going yellows, and they've all got a pocket. There's no cannons required, and if they can plot the route correctly, these could be out for 3-1.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll go up early. One at the top of the table might want dealing with sooner rather than later, but they're going to deal with it later.
Yeah, I think he just felt that it was easy to just get the pot and make sure they're on yellows because they've got that security of the bottom left-hand table of the table as with Luke. So he just made sure he's on that colour set, and they've still got a connection after this shot to get down.
Yeah, and there it is. I think you're exactly right. Lovely shot from Dylan Leary. It's a great example there to show the size of the cue ball, weirdly enough. As Dylan Leary loads that up with topspin, you see that almost like half-second delay where it bounces back before it eventually tracks forward. Lighter white, a signature of English 8 ball.
Yeah, and it's a skill to develop as you play English 8 ball. A lot of players, when they come from a snooker background, they sometimes struggle with that reaction of the cue ball, and it does take years of experience to build that up, to realise what this cue ball is going to be doing.
That's a lovely shot into a nice area from Dylan Leary. These two look sharp tonight, don't they?
Yeah, they just complement each other so well, and the styles of the games are very similar, whereby even though it's Scotch doubles, they're sort of almost telepathic, and they would both always play the same shot.
Yeah, and it certainly helps that, yes, they're both fantastic individuals, but they've got decades and decades of friendship behind them as well, and that level of just trust and knowledge in each other's game is absolutely invaluable. Oh, he's come a fraction far. I'd have been tempted almost, I think, there if I was Dylan, to just play the longer angle actually and maybe play top left, but he's going to have to now.
Yeah, that trust might be tested now. It's a big shot.
Now then.
And for how well Eddie and Dylan have played so far in the match, just shows the brutal nature of Pairs Cup pool. One miss and you could be looking at 2-2, and it's Josh Juhasz's break in the next frame.
Yeah, and a little bit of commentator's curse, I think, there as well. We're just saying about how well they'd played so far. Josh is playing killer with his dad, but thankfully they've got a shot downstairs to bail him out.
Yeah, he's rushed it. He's rushed it.
He did play that quick. Has he got away with it? I think he has.
Steve Juhasz, the tactical genius.
They're having a laugh as they sit down. That was Steve's first shot of the night. It's coming on a 15-second shot clock after his son's absolutely stitched him up. Dylan is going to foul. 8-ball is not going to get in the way of the Reds. So now it's up to Juhasz Jr. rather here, just to steady the ship a little and just get him and his dad through this one.
Yeah, and I think he needs to steady his dad down because he does seem to be rushing a little bit. And this is going to go and catch him out. And there we go. Is he on it?
Yeah, perfect position, Steve will tell you.
He's just straight down on the shot.
Yeah, that's okay. It's got the angle he needs, but slightly tougher pot. At least there's a lot of room for this cue ball to move.
He's got to control it.
1, 2, 3.
Great shot. Great shot.
Not even 4 cushions required. How's that for a positional shot from Josh Juhasz?
Can his dad keep it together? He has.
Brilliant. Super stuff from the Hungarian hustler who nails the 8-ball, and that will be a really, really sweet moment for the pair of the Juhaszes.
Yes.
Again, Steve stood up again, but it definitely is Josh to play next.
Yeah, he's done it again. The referee's going to have to tell him.
Yeah, 𝗟𝗏𝗘 is explaining it to them. I think Josh has got a little bit lost out there as well. Always trust in your referee, that's what I'd say. 𝗟𝗏𝗘 is keeping him in check. Because Josh is trying to tell him that he played the first singles, and he absolutely didn't.
Yeah. I don't know why Josh is the one complaining.
Yeah, Josh absolutely wants to be the one breaking off here. And it will be Josh Juhasz to break. He's just explaining to Josh what the situation is, which for us at home might be easy, but in the heat of battle might be a touch confusing. Josh just needs to clear his head, not worry about it. This is a position that you want to be in. 2-2, breaking off, 2 minutes left for a chance to go and win the match. Cue ball stays on the table, 8 balls flying around. Where's it going to end up? Oh, it's gone a little bit awkward.
Very awkward.
Oh, this is a horrible frame. Look at this.
And I think the best thing Josh can do here is just, I don't know, could he? If
This
he wanted
15-second shot clock with less than 2 minutes left is horrendous.
If he wants to be adventurous, he could play an unbelievable shot here. 3-ball plant. Oh. And I think that's the one shot that has opened the frame up to Eddie and Dylan. I think he could have played the red as a 3-ball plant and screwed and potted the yellow, which is over the pocket, in the same shot.
But yellows now are open, and that was the danger of going. There is a yellow that's still awkward up to the top right. There's only what, 77 seconds and ticking to figure it out for the Batman.
Yeah, I think the Batman's just going to use his experience, just take a little bit of time here to put himself in a position where it's only Eddie that's going to have a chance of winning this frame from here. And he doesn't want to go, end up missing, and then leaving Josh Juhasz the chance to reverse clearance.
Yeah, Dylan up to help as well, which is what I like to see. You're not going to get any ego from these two fellas. You know, Dylan doesn't have to worry about things like actually potting balls and playing cue balls, so he can just help Eddie out a little bit with the time and everything else. That's nice. Or is it? He just tracked a little far. In fact, has he played on the middle?
I think he's on it.
Well, to play that angle's a great shot because the margin was tiny. What a pot. 18 seconds left.
That's a great finish.
Eddie Barker wants to make this a buzzer beater, and he can. This 8-ball for the win. And Batman begins with a buzzer beater. Eddie Barker with a cracking finish to win it 3-2. Dylan Leary and Eddie Barker into the second round of matches tonight with a fantastic victory. Steve Juhasz and Josh Juhasz will be disappointed. They had moments in that match, but they couldn't quite get it over the line. For Dylan and Eddie, though, the perfect start in the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup.